But it's right, and I was, there was some STR data that I'm sure you all read that. I think 2016, independents actually outperformed branded hotels. I mean, are you seeing that the ones that you operate, you can get a premium over in your comp set over in terms of ADR over a branded hotel that might be also within your comp set?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean that makes it all the.
We have because our properties are resorts and they're destination. They're unique. In fact, they're the destination for the towns we're in. Mm-hmm. So we have to measure against other destination resorts, other high-end destination resorts, and we outperform those particular comp set. Mm-hmm. We naturally are doing very well, especially since we're in our markets up in Canada, we're the only resort in that market. So we knock them dead. We're running 1,000% index in that market.
Wow.
Again,
note to everyone, that's a really good index.
Yeah, we're the only one who can be 1,000, 2,000.
Yeah, pick any name. Good thing.
But we have to do other ones around the region to be able to actually compare. But we actually perform exceptionally to them.
But you also actually have one still true independent in your portfolio, correct?
Not currently, no. We've sold it. So.
Okay, you sold it. But what's the difference? I mean, is there to do it pure? Can you really do what are the parameters or the variables where you can, or the environment where you can still do a pure independent hotel without the need for any kind of?
I think you gotta kill that theming, that story. Mm-hmm. Okay. And you gotta design, you gotta execute flawlessly, and you cannot make a lot of mistakes when you're independent. And you better be in the right market. And I would probably recommend we will only do a pure destination that has a weather and an event type of attraction connected with it. Yeah. From a resort standpoint. And we'll only do the high barrier to entry, high demand urban markets. Mm-hmm. I'm sure these gentlemen and other people can do a better job than I can at the independents in these suburban markets or whatever, but it's a lot harder.
But we see some of the hotels.
Yeah, it's a lot harder. So our business is so cyclical that if the downturn comes, and I've been in the independents, owner as an independent during the downturns, and it hurts. Because it does change the dynamic substantially. I mean, let's face it, when with the time we're in right now, the waters rise all boats, right, together. And we're doing very, very well. So I'm not afraid of independents. I love them. They're a lot more enjoyable to operate and to own, but I want to make sure they're in the right markets.
So they're more enjoyable to operate. Why is that?
After all, we're in the hospitality business. We're creative people. We love to interact with that unique product. We like to offer that personality. Your associates love. We talk about human capital. I love that comment because it's so important. When they own that, it's not just owned by the flag, the brand. It's owned by the associates. Yeah. And they're so if you do it right and execute correctly, they own that product. It's not the brand that's delivering the experience. It's the individuals at the product.
Well, I was going to ask about employees. An employee at a hard brand hotel versus a soft brand, in terms of kind of maybe training or the way that the way they execute customer service, is there a big difference between that?
It's much more important. I mean, you want associates that own the experience, that feel they're part of the story that's being told.
Yeah.
And you have to create your own training plan because there is none, and you don't want to copy somebody else's because what's the point of doing something if you can't really come up with your own? So I think it's a lot harder to train associates and even attract them sometime because they, a branded hotel has a different, level of training and opportunity. With an independent hotel, you can't tell them that you can transfer to 6,000 other hotels. So it's a little harder, but if you do find the right people, it's a lot more fun. And that's what you have to sell. You have to sell that you'll have fun and this is an exciting opportunity.
Right.
Plus complete dedication required for an independent, for a boutique style property. I mean, that's one of the things that's unfortunate where we are in the cycle. As far as my company is going, we've had to concentrate more on the branded opportunities because we wanted to multiply those as multi-unit operators and developers. It's harder to go and focus on an independent style hotel. I mean, we developed Hotel Florence during the downturn when we all had a little bit more time on our hands.
Right, yeah, sure.
And it required complete dedication. I think that's one reason it turned out as well as it has.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we haven't been able to focus in that manner now.
But let's face it, a lot of there's brands out there with the different flags are category killers. And if you don't even pick the right corner, you just pick the right market, right? And you do the standards, you make sure you have a good product, you deliver the service that's to the standards, you're going to make money. It's not, you don't have to be a rocket scientist on it, right? You just got to make sure you know how to deliver our business correctly and intelligently and with hospitality.
Bruce, what would you? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, for independents or soft branded, that's a whole different story. I mean, you have to create the standards. You have to make sure you execute the standards, but more importantly, you have to have everybody buy into it every day. Because you lose that customer, you get on TripAdvisor, and that you got a black mark.
Yeah, it's a
real
death knell, right?
It's a lot harder to get it back.
Yeah.
So.
I was going to say, Bruce, looking at where we are in the cycle now as it relates to lending, I know, in the past few years we had this great kind of operating environment where demand was still outstripping supply, but we're seeing that kind of inch further up. I know the historically 2% new supply coming into the market each year, but that's grown up. That's ticking up. Well, what are you just seeing in terms of how is that impacting the lending markets for new construction, but also for acquisitions too?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
Well, just in terms of the lending markets now, where we are right now in the cycle, is it
in general?
In general, or if you could even, I would say in general, just to hear where we are now.
It's so specific. You can get a hotel in Boston, and you'll get 4 lenders that want to do it, and you could be in Utica, New York, and can't get arrested.
Yeah.
So it's a combination of so many things. So you really have to navigate and know who you can rely on. And lenders are very geographical, and you can have the greatest story in the world, but if they can't cross that border, they can't. And the thing I hear most recently is, the bucket is full. No new clients for hotels. So as hotel owners start to expand, I think that they'll find that they have difficulty because they could be great and have a lot of lender backup in their market, but as soon as they step out of that zone, people just don't care. They don't want to know about it.
Right.
And then, regarding independent as opposed to flags, I have the problem. I'm not trying to make it your problem, but my problem is that there's some lenders that don't like flags that everyone else loves. They had a bad experience or what have you, and
It's a personal issue.
yeah. So it's putting all the ingredients together, and you have to really be sensitive to all of the issues. I've seen great presentations that have had a very, very difficult time getting financed, and you wonder why. I don't like saying this, but I think that the lending community is not always right, and they'll pick a national brand in a certain location, and sight unseen they'll give you an offer. But if you have a great story, if it has any of the restrictions that they have on their list that morning, if they can't check all the boxes,
Right.
it's not even something that you could talk about.